Well, while we try and fix the audio connect with Shaina NC from the BJP, I'd like to cut across to Mr. Bhamla, General Secretary NCP. Mr. Bhamla, very quickly, sir, what's going on where the NCP is concerned? At one point, you're saying that, we don't know what we are doing. On the other, you have one leader which says, which is on record gone ahead and criticized Rahul Gandhi, praised Narendra Modi. Today, we had Mr. Praful Patel, who once again said that the Congress is testing their patience. Is it just political posturing, or is there more to meet the eye?
Firstly, let me put forth to you that after Wednesday, when our honorable leader Praful Patel ji gave a statement, the statement clearly emphasizes that the verdict of the court, and after that it's just been an offshoot of that happening on and on. Let me very specifically mention to this very clearly to all my friends out here, my opponents here, that it is just propaganda that could be taken up by the BJP or the other parties, maybe just to create a misunderstanding between our alliances. But yes, as far as Mr. Pawar is concerned, he has made a statement that there has been no such formal
Mr. Bhamla, to give credit to the BJP here, all these rumors, like you said, which have been floated by the BJP, really haven't. It's what your own party members have said, Mr. Bhamla. You had Mr. D.P. Tripathi, who openly criticized Rahul Gandhi, praised Narendra Modi. You had Mr. Praful Patel, who openly criticized the Congress, saying you're testing our patience. So these are not issues for differences. Go ahead, Mr. Bhamla.
No, we could have our differences in an alliance. There are normally differences of views, of mindsets, of opinion, but the basic formatting is that we are all a secular based party. You see, so you can't just conclude that we are hobnobbing with Mr. Modi, or our statements could not be taken in that direction, is something which our leaders specifically mentioned. And I think our spokesperson, Mr. Nawab Malik, also on the same day when you aired Prafulji's statement, he very clearly, categorically mentioned that there is nothing like that. And in fact, the media has taken a little overboard as far as what I saw about Mr. D.P. Tripathi ji. Right. When it comes to talking of an experience, for being factual, you can't combine two and two and
Mr. Bhamla, D.P. Tripathi, a senior leader from your party, has said that Rahul Gandhi should cannot be Prime Minister. He is not experienced enough. Now, if you continue our alliance with the Congress, in effect, he is.
I can't hear you. What?
Mr. Bhamla, D.P. Tripathi.
Can you repeat that, please, again?
Yes, Mr. Bhamla, D.P. Tripathi has gone ahead and said that Rahul Gandhi is inexperienced for being the Prime Minister. Having said that, if your alliance continues with the Congress, then in effect, de facto, the Prime Minister candidate is Rahul Gandhi, even though his name is not announced.
Yeah, so his name is not announced. His name is yet not announced. This could have taken the discussion on a different level had the prime ministerial candidate be announced tomorrow.
All right, let me ask you. Then let me, Mr. Bhamla. Then let me ask you a question. If Rahul Gandhi was to be the prime ministerial face for the UPA, will you still support the Congress?
Well, it is the UPA which is still not certain who is going to be the prime ministerial candidate, and I believe they've been very categorically saying everywhere in and out that it's the panel of the member of parliaments after the election that will decide on the candidate. So I don't know who are we to talk about this. And post alliance, if whatever decision between my party bosses and their conclusion, there could be a call that could be taken at a later date. As of now, the UPA itself is not declared the prime ministerial candidate. So I think
what is the NCP stand
before.
Mr. Bhamla, what is the NCP stand of Rahul Gandhi being the prime ministerial face for the UPA? What is your party stand?
Our stand is very simple. Our leader, Honorable Sharad Chandra Pawar ji, is a messiah of secularism. We've always been with the secular forces of the country.
And if the secular force is led by Rahul Gandhi, are you still with the Congress?
That is again for the party high command to decide. I'm just an ordinary worker of the party, so I can't comment, and it's too early to talk about this. As I've already mentioned, it's the positioning with the UPA in itself is not so very clear.
But, you know, by not talking about it, Mr. Bhamla, you've pretty much said enough. I'd like to welcome back Shaina NC to this discussion. Shaina, you know, what's going on? At one end, there's word that Mr. Sharad Pawar has had this closed-door meeting with Narendra Modi. Of course, both sides of the faction have denied it. Your party has denied it. So has the NCP. You know, just hypothetically speaking, if there were overtures made, would the BJP welcome the NCP?
I don't think this is a decision for me or anyone else from the BJP to take. It is for the party high command. And having said that, I'd like to just say that there is no factual reality to any meeting having taken place. So that nips the question in the bud itself. But when it comes to Modi ji's popularity, it's amply apparent across the political spectrum. You've had senior leaders of the NCP, whether it's Mr. Tripathi or Praful Patel, also going on record and just appreciating his good work. I don't think we need a clean chit from anyone, because the Supreme Court has clearly given that to Mr. Modi in the past, whether it's the SIT or the Supreme Court itself. But I think what is imperative to understand at this juncture is that the nation wants a government that is stable, that is completely devoid of the Congress and completely working towards the development of the country and anti-corruption. And Mr. Narendra Modi fits the bill in every parameter. So I'm not shocked to see this kind of applaud and this kind of appreciation from different sections of political quarters.
Shaina, is this a testimony of times to come? Is this the testimony of times to come? Because it's often said in politics,
absolutely,
there are only fair weather friends.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, but I don't think that this is even a drop in the ocean. There are a lot more cases and a lot more people who will come out openly to support Mr. Narendra Modi, which has been apparent across the board, not just the political firmament. I mean, if you take individual, conversations, even in the bureaucracy, even in the armed forces, even in civil society, even with NGO activists, even with the youth, the women, I think this is just the beginning of 2014. And it's going to be an interesting time to see that all those who stood on just criticism of Mr. Modi are going to come lock, stock and barrel and only want him as the Prime Minister of this nation.
Whether there's something brewing between the NCP and the BJP, we don't want to comment on that. Both parties have completely denied. But it's often said there are only fair weather friends when it comes to politics. And I would quote Shaina on that. These elections would be the most interesting.
Speak.
10 seconds, Mr. Bhamla, very quickly, we're running out of time.
Madam, what I would like to put across is socially and in the general conclave of the chief ministers, when any leader meets up with another leader, I don't understand why the media has to make this such a big issue. I mean, of course, across party lines, all leaders are friendly with each other, but that does not mean that a leader has met another leader. And I think this we are going a little too overboard with this, and as Shaina also rightly corrected it, that there is nothing like this happening. So I think that
So Mr. Bhamla, you admit right now it's all political posturing by the account of Mr. DP Tripathi, by the account of Mr. Praful Patel.
It's not political posturing, it's media posturing.
Your ministers have said that, Mr. Bhamla. I'm sorry, we're running out of time right now. You know, your ministers too. Your ministers have said it on record too.
By a leader apprehending another leader is one issue, but that does not. You can't jump to a conclusion that we are with the BJP. We are of a different ideology totally.
All right,
Appreciate even in our wildest dreams to
appreciate your
support
point
the BJP.
of view. Appreciate your point of view, Mr. Bhamla, General Secretary of the NCP. Shaina, thank you there for joining us. Of course.